It's nice to have you join us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Najaa Tijani. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website nta.ng/live and all our social media handles displayed on the screen. President Muhammadu Buhari has described as fulfilling and satisfying the fact that he will be leaving a legacy of a stabilized national security order across Nigeria in fulfillment of the vow made when he came into power in 2015. This was while inaugurating various legacy projects executed by the Naira administration and the Nigeria Police Force in Damaturu, Yobe State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
It was a befitting welcome for President Muhammadu Buhari on arrival in Yobe, pride of the Sahel, on a state visit, the first by any Nigerian leader in the last 18 years. He is here to inaugurate several legacy projects executed under the consolidation, continuity and innovation agenda of the Mai Malabuni administration as well as the management of the Nigeria Police Force. First to be inaugurated was the Muhammadu Buhari International Cargo Airport, the first in the Northeast sub-region. The project, inherited by the present administration at foundation level, was completed at over 30 billion naira. Also inaugurated by the president is the ultra-modern market complex named after the immediate past governor of the state, Ibrahim Gaidam, as well as the maternal, newborn and child health complex of the Yobe State University Teaching Hospital. The magnificent edifice is fully equipped with the most modern state-of-the-art facilities towards finding lasting solutions to maternal and child mortality. The president also declared open the newly constructed 2,350 units Bukar Abba Ibrahim Housing Estate as well as the Damaturu Mega School along Gujiba Maiduguri bypass. And for the Nigeria Police Force, the president inaugurated several projects executed by the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba. The projects include the brand new headquarters of the Yobe State Police Command and access roads, a well-equipped hospital for improved healthcare services for police personnel, and a secondary school. President Buhari commended IGP Alkali Baba for demonstrating purposeful, responsive, and visionary leadership in conceptualizing and executing the landmark projects. Earlier on arrival, President Buhari paid a courtesy visit on the Emir of Damaturu, Sheikh Hashim Ibn Umar El Kanemi, where he promised that in the last few months of his administration, he will remain focused, steadfast, and unwavering in delivering public good for posterity.
I think the agreement intention, I'm not sure for which quarters to destroy Nigeria. And God will help us to bring it back. So please, let us demonstrate more confidence in our country. Let us make sure that we don't compromise security in any form, and make sure that we don't allow anybody to disorganize us again.
Yobe State is one of the states that you liberated from the clutches of the Boko Haram insurgency. Your Excellency, I want you to also note that even this palace, this Damaturu Emirate Council Palace, was under Boko Haram insurgency. They took over the palace, they chased out everybody. Even if $1 billion is placed here for one to come and pick it, nobody dare to come and pick it.
Someone who does not thank his fellow human being does not thank the last one out. Your Excellency, the situation we find ourselves in this great country, initially was uncertain.
The Emir, Sheikh Hashim Ibn Umar El-Kanami, said the people of Damaturu and indeed Yobe State cannot thank President Buhari enough for restoring peace, law and order in the area for a sustainable future. From Damaturu, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still in Damaturu, at a state banquet organized in his honor, President Muhammadu Buhari expressed the conviction that nobody can blackmail him regarding inexplicable wealth and illicit enrichment while in office. The president also said that he takes pride in the fact that his promise of addressing the inherited fundamental challenges bedeviling the nation has been largely achieved. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
On coming to power in 2015, the Buhari administration promised to frontally and courageously tackle the Boko Haram insurgency, whose threat was potent and pervasive, diversify the economy, and ensure that corruption is stopped.
Where is Boko Haram today? The economy picked up under this system. Fighting corruption is not easy. But what I am very happy about, I thank God, nobody can blackmail me. I don't have 1 square inch outside Nigeria.
The president thanked Nigerians for their understanding, support, and trust in his leadership so far, and promised to remain committed to serving God, the nation, and humanity, even after leaving office.
So please, wherever you find yourself, just do your best. I thank God that Nigerians understood me. And I intend to stay in Nigeria when I finish. This country, as I said more than 30 years ago, is the only country we have. We all stay together and salvage it together.
President Buhari commended Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State, whom he described as competent and courageous, for taking advantage of the return of peace and security in the state to execute people-oriented projects. Governor Buni had told the president that the landmark projects he inaugurated were only a few of those executed across the state to give the people renewed sense of hope in governance following the restoration of peace and normalcy.
Therefore, we humbly appeal to Mr. President to approve the takeover of the University Teaching Hospital, including the maternity, newborn, and pediatric healthcare complex by the federal government. Similarly, the Yobe State International Cargo Airport is the only cargo airport in the region that can serve and promote economic activities in the Northeast. It is in this regard that I also humbly request the federal government, under your able leadership, to take over the airport to further improve the lives of the people of Yobe State and the Northeast in general.
My leadership plan is to continue to replicate the model command headquarters, secondary school and hospital, which are commissioned in Yobe State, as well as model police station and barracks across all the 36 states of the country and the FCT, until all facilities of the force are aligned to modern dictates.
We have seen so much development in Yobe State during your tenure. In fact, Yobe never had it so good, and we are indeed very, very grateful. And for the next 3-4 months, Mr. President, our loyalty will be redoubled. You will end your presidency very strong by the grace of God.
During the event, the rich cultural heritage of Yobe State, pride of the Sahel, was showcased. From Damaturu, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Speaking of landmark projects, Yobe State is now on the global aviation map with the inauguration of a multi-billion naira international cargo airport designed to unlock the economic potential of the agrarian state and, by extension, the Northeast region. Stakeholders in the aviation sector say the landmark project will boost the internally generated revenue base of the state. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Named after President Muhammadu Buhari, the cargo airport stakeholders believed
has the potency to turn around the economic fortunes of the 32-year-old state through export of agricultural products and mineral resources from the state to any part of the world with ease. As they say, it conforms with both national and international aviation standards.
The length of our runway here is 3,600 meters. I can tell you not more than 4 or 5 airports have that much length of runway in Nigeria today. So we are not afraid of the arrival of any aircraft in civil aviation and in military operations.
To consider the strategic position of the airport, is not only for the benefit of Yobe State, but for the benefit of the entire sub-Saharan region.
Encourage manufacturing, industries, agriculture.
This was why Governor Mai Mala Buni, at a banquet organized by the Yobe State government in honor of President Muhammadu Buhari, made a strong case for the federal government to take over the airport for the benefit of people in the region and refund the more than 37 billion naira expended by the state in executing the facility.
In Europe and Middle East have indicated interest to commence international trade in necessities and livestock as soon as the airport commences operation.
It was also believed that the establishment of the Muhammadu Buhari International Cargo Airport Damaturu can serve as a platform in aiding the military to sustain their counter-insurgency operations in the region. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
And the Central Bank of Nigeria has issued a new directive instructing banks to end issuance of old notes to customers by Friday the 13th of January 2023. The latest development has stirred reactions from Nigerians, and Boss Sedi Able presents an update of the directive by all deposit money banks on their automated teller machines.
Many Nigerians have continued to lament the lack of the newly redesigned Naira notes at ATM machines within the Federal Capital Territory, despite the Central Bank of Nigeria's directive that ATM machines should be loaded with the new notes. It's not easy gaining access into some of the premises of the banks after sighting our cameras, but after taking permission, we're given the go-ahead. So let's begin with this ATM spot.
It's like they reserve a new one for their special customer. The old one is for we that we don't have anybody in the back. That's what I understand.
If I follow the information we have concerning from the CBN as well, the money is not forthcoming except from the ATM and extremely scanty.
The CBN also issued another directive that banks should end issuance of old notes to customers by Friday the 13th of January 2023.
I'm happy because save me the stress of going to, at least when I'm going to buy something, I'm confident that they will accept the money. With this one, I know that sure banker, I'm going to get what I'm going there to buy.
If they don't comply with the new directive, I think they'll be penalized, and I think that's a very good step. Aside from redesigning the Naira note, it has a lot of its own contribution in terms of curbing corruption and a lot of things.
Although some bank management told us off camera that they were yet to receive the notes, others assured they would meet up before the end of the day's session, while some were able to mix both the old and the new notes.
It makes me feel great because we are actually moving as a nation, and it's also helps us a lot to make sure that the economy grows a lot.
Actually, I feel happy. At least we have something called change this time around, and I know this will bring more greater things to our country, Nigeria.
As the countdown continues to the deadline of the retrieval of all the old Naira notes come January 31st, it is believed that the CBN will achieve the cashless policy regime for Nigeria. In Abuja, Boss Sedi Able, NTA News.
Meanwhile, experts in the financial sector have thrown their weight behind the commencement of the new policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria regarding limited daily and weekly cash withdrawals, describing it as strategic towards boosting the cashless policy effectively. Chidebere Onya engaged on analysts in Port Harcourt in our reports.
In
individuals and corporate organizations' cash withdrawal limits under CBN's new monetary policy is now effective. The CBN implemented a new regulation capping weekly cash withdrawals at 5 million naira for businesses and 500,000 naira for individuals.
It's going to help us to be disciplined. It's going to help the government to be able to track the funds that are in the economy, so that from there they will be able to bring up policies that will be effective in order to check or enhance the economic development.
In the coming elections, it will reduce vote buy. Nothing wrong in individual withdrawing 500,000 naira in a week. Remember, initially it was 100,000, which people kicked against, and eventually they now reviewed it to 500,000. And I want to believe that an individual who has need for money can have, has other options to transfer money.
Society watchers say for a cashless economy to work seamlessly in Nigeria, a simple payment infrastructure tailored to Nigeria's largely uneducated society is required to aid speedy adoption. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onya, NTA News.
Stay tuned for more reports after this time out on Nationwide.
Nigeria na we country, everything na the party, na woman be a Nigeria na we country, everything na the party, na woman be a the president we need, the president we go for.
People of Nigeria don't talk up. Them say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu they want as president of Nigeria. Our country people get many reasons wey make them all agree say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu them choose for this president election. Yes, so Bola Tinubu na man wey sabi anything wey he put in hand, he dey work well. He do better work for Lagos State when he be governor. Till today, Lagos people still dey enjoy from all the better things wey Jaburata for Lagos. People of Nigeria, e good to make we vote for who sabi. If we come be so, make we all come out for election day and vote Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president of Nigeria. Vote Senator Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party with the broom.
Who be the president we go for?
Sportsbet sponsors coverage of the Italian Serie A.
Nigeria, African beauty on the Gulf of Guinea, blessed with natural landmarks and wildlife reserves. Nigeria, largest economy in Africa. Nigeria, famous accomplishment in entertainment and sports. Nigeria, resourced with globally respected human capital. Our uniqueness lies in our tenacity, our acumen, a testament of success. At NTA, we are forever proud to be the showcase channel of this positive energy and the reflection of the good in our nation. The capacity to tell our nation's story would not have been possible without the support and patronage of the three arms of government: ministries, departments, agencies, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, and of course you, our esteemed viewers. As we wish you a prosperous new year, let's get set to make 2023 even greater together.
It's nice to know you're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA, and we're still talking monetary matters. The cash withdrawal limit of the Central Bank of Nigeria takes effect nationwide, and people in Zamfara are advocating more public enlightenment concerning benefits of the new policy. A cross-section of residents who spoke with NTA News in Gusau expressed mixed reactions over the policy. Haliru Muhammad reports.
As the policy begins, people in Zamfara State have continued to express mixed reactions.
I think that's going to be something that may assist our country.
This policy is going to bring price control in the country. Once there is no circulation of the money, the price control is going to work. Once there is price control, when there is money circulation of the money, price control will never work forever.
Some of the respondents who argue that the policy will boost the cashless policy, reduce inflation and stabilize the economy, advised Nigerians to embrace it for improvement of the country's economy and security. Others who, however, frowned at the new policy said it will not be favorable for especially rural populace, while calling on the Central Bank of Nigeria to create more awareness on the benefits of the policy. The new policy, according to the CBN, is expected to reduce the amount of cash outside the banking system. In Gusau, Hamir Muhammad, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says it has directed all banks to dispense the new Naira notes using the automated telemachines ATMs. The Director of Currency Operations, CBN, Ahmed Umar, in a virtual meeting with all state directors of the National Orientation Agency, said the directive would be duly monitored to ensure compliance. Kenneth Nanim reports.
The redesigned Naira notes, now to serve as new legal tender for the country, are generating controversy, which is demanding responses from the authorities concerned, and that makes this meeting critical.
The central bank management have mandated banks that they should stop putting old currency notes in their machines. They should only put the new notes, and there is a realization of the policy that they can put either 500, 1,000 or 200. We are going to make sure that the banks comply, and if they don't, we have penalties for non-compliance.
The Director of Currency Operations of the CBN says the monetary policy was initiated to drive key financial reforms and entrench a cashless regime.
As at October 26, 2022, out of a total volume of 3.23 trillion currency in circulation, 2.7 trillion is outside the banking system. So technically, it's to say that 85% of the volume of notes that we had were not under the overview or visibility of the banks, including the central bank. And another reason is that we discovered that the high denominations, particularly 9, 500 and 1,000, constitute more than 99% of the currency notes that are being targeted for counterfeiting.
National Orientation Agency is a partner here, and its task is simple: to disseminate the right information to the public and build confidence around the new legal tender.
The Naira policy is one critical policy that has to be understood and be taken to the people. The manner, the language they can understand, and this is where the strength of the MOA lies.
Both organizations were also on the same page regarding the amendment of the CBN Act to adequately checkmate the abuse of the Naira notes. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The Buhari Media Organization says the 78% revenue projection from the non-oil sector in the 2023 budget is a milestone in the nation's fiscal history. The media organization, in a statement, notes this is the first time in more than 30 years that the budget has not been largely funded by the oil sector. While analyzing the budget, BMO notes that the 21.83 trillion naira has a revenue projection of 9.73 trillion naira, out of which 78% is expected from the non-oil sector, compared to 22% coming from the oil sector. The media group says this indicates the success of the diversification policy of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. It's time now to join Adiola in our Lagos Network Center for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you, Najatu. Ahead of the January 15 deadline for collection of permanent voter cards at registration areas and wards, Lagos State Resident Electoral Commissioner Olusegun Agbaje says over 50,000 PVCs have been collected in Lagos within a few days. He assured residents that arrangements have been made to fast-track the process. Agbaje made this known during an inspection of PVC collection in some polling units in Lagos. Joe Pupola has the report.
Encouraged by the turnout of Lagosians for the PVC collection, INEC says it is determined to sustain the momentum, and this informed the inspection of the exercise in some selected polling units in Lagos. This is also for on-the-spot assessment of challenges and complaints of residents. At Ireti Ward 9 in Ikoyi, the process was smooth as many eligible voters were able to get their permanent voter cards after going through a painstaking process.
Actually, I transferred from Festac to Ikoyi, and it's easy.
In some areas, however, many were unable to collect their PVC due to some constraints in the process.
The challenge I have is each time I come here, they will check through, then they will tell me that they say that I should go and come back.
If they have a plan on how to give it out, it will be easier. Instead of people here clamoring, and they just have to have a method.
The resident electoral commissioner allayed the fears of those facing difficulties in getting their PVC. He assured them that their grievances will be looked into. While the process was itch-free at St. George's polling unit in Ward 8, the rowdy situation in Ward 2 Kuramo Secondary School was brought under control with proper crowd management effected by INEC officials. The resident electoral commissioner expressed satisfaction with the process so far.
The ones that we had challenges are the ones of 2011, where we have 900. The ones of 2021, 2022, they are being collected. As I said, this local government on Saturday did 5,000 PVC collection. Yesterday, 4,900.
The commissioner is urging all stakeholders to mobilize Nigerians to collect their PVC ahead of the deadline. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And as the countdown to this year's general elections draw nearer, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has advised residents to look unto God for hitchful polls and disregard negative predictions of anarchy and violence usually released during electioneering period by a section of religious leaders who do not mean well for the country. He gave the advice at the 23rd edition of State House Annual Thanksgiving service organized by the Ministry of Home Affairs in Lagos. Musa Toliat completes the report.
Starting a new year with Thanksgiving service has remained a tradition by previous administrations in Lagos State. This year's event is, however, the first to be held outside the State House since 2000. Organizers say this is not unconnected with the need to ensure participation of greater number of people in line with the governor's policy of inclusion.
We have a lot to be thankful to God for, even as we welcome the new year 2023, the year of the rising world for a greater Lagos.
Praise ye the Lord from the heavens, praise him in the heights, praise ye him, all his angels. Let us go forth, therefore, unto him.
Ministrations by clergymen from various Christian denominations centered on seeking God's assured mercies for peaceful coexistence across the country.
We are his way, and every one of us in this year 2023 shall be a year of peace for all of us.
Governor Sanwo-Olu urged residents to shun negative predictions by some religious leaders.
Even as they seek the face of the Lord regarding this transition period, I'm certain that the good people of Lagos State will once again choose the team that has been able to fulfill the mandate that has been entrusted with us.
The annual Thanksgiving service, which coincided with the 56th birthday of the wife of the Lagos State Governor, Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, had the theme, praising the name of God. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos. Remember, you can still watch this news live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. And so we'll hand over to Naja in Abuja. Naja, back to you.
Thank you, Adiola, and welcome to our Abuja studios, where we have an update on the Igweben train attack. The security operatives have secured the release of another female hostage of the Igweben train station attack, bringing the number of those released so far to 7. A 65-year-old man, a nursing mother, and a baby, a 6-year-old, and 2 siblings aged 2 and 5 have been released. A statement by the police public relations officer, Edo Command, Chidi Wazo, indicates that the victim has since been reunited with her family members in Warri, Delta State. The statement also adds that a combined security force is in the forest intensifying efforts to secure the release of the remaining victims unhurt. And Nigerian hunters say the organization is ready to deploy every necessary measure to secure the nation's rail lines from attacks by terrorist groups and other sundry criminals. The organization laments attacks on one of the nation's legacy projects under President Muhammad Buhari, appealing for the assent of Nigerian hunters and forestry security service to strengthen operations.
Not today, to empower and to make sure it equipped the hunters as soon as possible. We have to go to the forest, we have to assist our farmers to secure them, to give them a conducive environment so they can be farming, and that will increase our food basket in our country.
The Nigerian hunters also commend the Nigerian armed forces for consistently securing the nation's territorial integrity against external aggression and have pledged continued support. As part of efforts to rid the service of bad eggs and in furtherance of the federal government's fight against corruption, the Nigerian Immigration Service has dismissed 4 personnel and demoted 14 for various offences for which they appeared before the orderly room trial committee of the service. 4 other personnel were discharged and acquitted, while 2 have been redeployed to other locations. A statement by the service public relations officer, Tony Akuneme, indicates that 11 personnel have been issued warning letters, while 1 has been compulsorily retired. The statement adds that 11 others are awaiting trial. Akuneme in the statement conveys the CGI's assurance to the general public that there are no sacred cows in the Nigeria Immigration Service, as all offenders shall be appropriately sanctioned. To curb the growing practice of manipulating and recruiting juveniles into different violent, armed and ideological groups, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is raising awareness about these consequences. Ruth Agwele reports.
Recruiting child soldiers has been of global concern. It is estimated that 40% of child soldiers globally are active in Africa. Going by UNICEF report, Nigeria is no exception, with more than 8,000 boys and girls recruited and used as child soldiers by various armed groups. At 15, the likes of Lukman Yusuf is of ripe age to be recruited by non-state actors. But Lukman is not oblivious of the common practice of having children recruited by terrorist groups and wants children safeguarded.
I think parents should be very close to their children at all times, so they won't get into anything like terrorism, armed group.
Some children went there because of hunger, because their parents are not feeding them well. If you are not educated, you don't know the difference between suicide bombings. You think you are fighting for the country, not knowing you are destroying the country's legacy.
To address concerns of juvenile recruitment by non-state actors, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is engaging relevant key players through sensitization of the dangers and to profile solutions.
It is my wish that today's program will bring concrete recommendations on how to eliminate the tactics used by terrorists in recruitment and exploitation of juveniles and other vulnerable groups by the non-state armed groups. Because non-state actors have continued to challenge the monopoly of force of legitimate and constituted authorities, and what they do is to target vulnerable populations. So it's important that kids
are targeted also by people who are positive.
And we hope to devise maybe after all this a kind of policy framework with the Office of the National Security Advisor on kind of preventing and countering violent extremism.
As the voices echoed, the goal is to protect vulnerable children and take them off the street to curb social vices across the country. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the distribution arm of the electricity value chain is strengthening collaboration with security agencies and community leaders to curb the menace of vandalization of electrical assets and installations in the country. This is coming in the wake of increased cases of vandalization of transformers, cables, and other power infrastructure, with the latest being a 185-meter-long underground cable carted away in the central business district of Abuja. While the federal government and other players in the sector say investment in distribution network will be sustained to ensure provision of adequate electricity, the statement urges the public to be vigilant and report suspicious activities around electrical installations to security agencies. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Engineer Obadiah Simon Nkom as the Director General of the Nigerian Mining Cadastre Office for a second and final term of 4 years with effect from 12th January 2023. The first for an initial period of 4 years under the leadership of Engineer Nkom. In the first 4 years, the Nigerian Mining Cadastre Office recorded 86% increase in revenue generation, raking in more than 8.9 billion naira between 2019 and 2021 compared to 4.8 billion naira generated in the corresponding period of 2016 to 2018. This also accounts for about 50% of the contribution of the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to the economy. The recently unveiled reforms in the automation of the mining cadastre system have also improved online and real-time mineral title administration and management. Similarly, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Mr. Abdul Muttalib Mukhtar as the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Family Homes Funds Limited, as contained in a statement issued by Special Advisor Media and Communications to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. Mr. Mukhtar is currently the Senior Special Assistant to the President in the Office of the Chief of Staff to the President, working as part of a team of professionals to oversee the implementation of some of the main objectives of the administration, including the development of strategic national infrastructure and enhancing food security. He's led teams and managed business offices to ensure the delivery of operational efficiency and increased revenue. It's time to join Asma'u in Sokoto.
Good evening and thank you for joining us in Sokoto and Nationwide. Federal Road Safety Corps Sokoto State Command says 64 persons lost their lives from January 2022 to date. This was disclosed by the sector commander of the corps while commenting on road traffic crashes recorded in 2022. Balat Abdullah completes the report.
The Federal Road Safety Corps is an agency saddled with the responsibility of ensuring free flow of traffic. The sector commander Sokoto State, Kabiru Yusuf Nadabo, said the command has recorded 145 cases of road crashes from January 2022 to date. He added that the command had participated in 90 rescue operations, saying that all the accidents recorded were as a result of night journeys, problems of potholes and use of expired tires. The commander appealed to the road users to always respect traffic rules.
There is a kind of increase in the traffic crash that happens in Sokoto State 2022. This from our own traffic analysis and observation. Most of these crashes, about 55.9% of the crashes that happens in Sokoto, mostly happens in the night.
He said accident rate has increased in Sokoto State in the year 2022 compared to 2021. In Sokoto, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Stakeholders in basic education from across northern Nigeria have observed with inspiration the increased level of literacy amongst children in the region following effective implementation of the Jolly Phonics program. This was at an event to assess 10 years of the project implementation in the region held in Gusau, Zamfara State. Jamil Ibrahim has more.
Jolly Phonics is a fun and child-centered approach to teaching literacy through synthetic phonics. It was introduced in Zamfara State Basic Education in 2012 and subsequently extended to other northern parts of the country. Gathered here in Gusau, Zamfara State are critical stakeholders in the implementation of the Jolly Phonics in northern part of Nigeria to celebrate what they termed a success story of its 10th anniversary. The event was specifically characterized with a number of wonderful presentations on various aspects of the Jolly Phonics, including quiz competition by some primary school students from across Zamfara State. Executive Chairman Zamfara State Universal Basic Education Board Abubakar Ali Maradon and some other stakeholders are unanimous that the Jolly Phonics has so far proved to be the most effective way of teaching children to read and write at a very early stage.
Since the beginning of Jolly Phonics in the state, while hundreds of thousands of children were empowered to read and write across the 48 years.
In a message to the event, the Executive Director, Universal Learning Solution, Madam Naomi Foxcroft, attributed the success so far recorded by the program to the dedication and commitment of all stakeholders, especially Zamfara State Universal Basic Education Board, who hoped the trend will be sustained. A number of personalities from across northern states were specifically honored at the event in recognition of their sterling commitment and contribution to the success of the program. In Gusau, Jamil Ibrahim, NTA.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and all other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. It's back to Najatu in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
We want better. Our country want better. Go do one for us. Mama talk and move. Mama talk and move for a better Nigeria. Good life. Now you we want to. Now you we need. Oh, yes. So people of Nigeria, they jolly for the better. They want shele for we country. So we need to put Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the next president of Nigeria. Our people don't look the matter well. Say that only Bola Tinubu don't do what everybody will see. Now you get the experience where you go fit to use take make our country better, make life sweet for we and our picking them. But Latino don't get a better plan to chase down work for we youth, better school, the security of lives and property, unity and peace for all the country people of Nigeria. But these and many other better things where in don't vocalize. It could make we all vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president of Nigeria. Vote Kashif Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party where show groom. Now you need
Positive for the play here for Brighton and straight away.
Let's took advantage. Nunez. Liverpool back on level terms.
Brilliant, fantastic finish by Adam Lallana.
Salah in. 2-0. Tottenham, architects of their own downfall. A dire mistake in every sense.
Sportybet sponsors coverage of the English Premier League.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
So much for staying on. Welcome to Enugu. The intervention of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, which pegs cash withdrawal at regularized units, not only control the amount of cash flow outside the banking system and serve as a great boost to the cashless policy, but will also serve as an ambush against promoters of vote buying. But the CBN should also be aware of its challenges, especially on bank depositors. These were the views of some respondents in states in the Southeast Zone, as Comfort Aim reports.
December 6, 2022 came the directive by CBN on the Naira withdrawal limit. And January 9, 2023 was the commencement date. The long-awaited January 9 is here. Already residents of the Southeast have embraced the new regime, which pegged the maximum cash withdrawal per week at 100,000 Naira and 500,000 Naira respectively via automated teller machine ATM, subject to a maximum of 20,000 Naira cash withdrawal per day.
Telling us that there should be a ceiling or limits to what you can spend in a day and to what you can withdraw in a day is not a bad thing. You know, as much as it is not abused.
I don't really withdraw up to that 100,000 because I don't need up to that amount.
When you do transfer sometimes, the money will be debited from your own account and the receiver will receive the money. Yet, it will take the bank sometimes some 2 hours, sometimes 2 weeks for them to do the reversal. If you go to POS, that is the worst.
Though it was a mixed bag for many, and some are not even aware of the commencement.
The federal government said that they should put it in the ATM, but wait, they don't have it.
The paper maintained that if the policy will regulate the amount of cash flow outside the banking system and serve as a great boost to cashless policy, as well as serve as an ambush against promoters of vote buying, then Nigeria will be free from corruption. Meanwhile, some ATM machines in Enugu State are still loaded with old Naira notes, while others are mixed. In Enugu, Comfort, I am 18 News.
The Enugu State Command of the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has paraded 2 suspects arrested with 272 kilograms of cannabis sativa. Mina Adobe Ukobase reports.
The tip-off in the wee hours of today, officers and men of the NDLEA stormed a location identified as Ababanike in Enugu State and recovered 272 kg of compressed cannabis sativa from 47-year-old Mmemeka Ome of Anambra State origin and Wele Friday, 35 years old, from Ebonyi State.
So before that's the night, after the second, she still have people are passing this place. So as the police says, this was supposed to be because I know they can't take I didn't have time. Obviously, as a radio, I don't know which is sensitive. I will be sure. I'm not being
Speaking on the matter, the commandant, NDLEA Enugu State, said the command acted on intelligence, which led to the arrests of the suspects. He said, according to investigation, the duo is part of a suspected network of syndicates.
There are suspicion that they have a network, and we are trying to pick them one after the other.
He called them.
Unfortunately, we've lost the signal from our Enugu Network Center. The Department of State Services says it has uncovered plans by some politicians and disgruntled elements within and outside government to sponsor smear campaigns against the Director General DSS Yusuf Magaji Bichi and key officials of the service. The The service spokesperson, Dr. Peter Afunanya, says those behind the plot have engaged civil society and non-governmental organizations to stage rallies, roadshows and press conferences to use the occasions to discredit Bichi. The service warns that no amount of intimidation, harassment and blackmail will deter it from discharging its duties, and it will not sit and watch some group of dissatisfied gangs undermine the service and its management. The DSS therefore wishes to inform the public to be wary of these elements while restating its unalloyed support to the President concerning his resolve to continue to confront head-on threats to national security. On Maiduguri Network Center is next. Oh, but before we join Maiduguri, let's take the story from INEC, which has commenced a 2-day validation workshop of election security training resources. The workshop is a follow-up to earlier workshops held in 2022 in Kefi and another one held in August 2022 in Kano State. The chairman board of the Electoral Institute, Professor Abdullahi Zuru, notes that INEC is taking the electoral security seriously, especially in parts of the country, and the fact that National Youth Service Corps members constitute the core of the polling unit election officials. The Director General of the Electoral Institute, Dr. Saad Umar Idris, emphasized that the election security training documents will play a critical role in the effective training of security personnel in securing the electoral environment for free, fair, credible and inclusive elections. Dr. Idris also says the outcome of the workshop will lead to an improvement in the professionalism of securing the electoral environment.
Election security, INEC officials came from the Electoral Institute to really look at those documents with two major objectives. One, look at what we have reviewed in Kefi and Kano. Have we lived up to the expectation? Have it really lived up to what we expected, what we developed? Is it in line with what people, what all the stakeholders agreed in Kefi and Kano? If it is really, secondly, is it really enough? Is it effective? Is it good? Is it good enough for proper, effective and efficient security training delivery for 2023 elections? So this is like, we didn't bring people for them to just say, oh yes, the documents are okay. No, we want them to look at them again. Do they reflect what we have agreed in Kefi and Kano?
The Electoral Institute is the arm of INEC charged with the responsibility of training the manpower for smooth electoral processes. The Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has promised to build a new Nigeria and restore the country concerning economic growth and prosperity. Godfrey Nzekwe reports.
The supporters of Labour Party trooped out en masse to welcome the presidential candidate and his entourage to Asaba, Warri, Abo and Kwale. In Asaba, the state capital, both Papa, Mama and Pikin, like the slogan of the party portrays, were all over the town, waving the flag of the party in confirmation of their support. Different dance troops added color to the campaign. When the presidential candidate arrived the venue, he acknowledged greetings from supporters. Different party candidates were introduced and applauded as they expressed the change they will bring about. The party leaders also urged 5/5 votes for the Labour Party. When Peter Obi mounted the podium, the ovation became louder. He promised to turn Nigeria from a consuming to a producing nation.
Everywhere, Labour Party. We want people to be productive. When people are productive, we will not over them. And we assure you, we will make sure that this government is government of youth and women. Go out and vote for 26 for Mama, Papa, Pikin. And this Nigeria is this election is as good as won. And as we win, we are going to start building Nigeria.
We need to trim costs. We need to focus on creating wealth, expanding the economy to create
opportunities for jobs for Nigerians.
The campaign rally continues in different states of the nation. I am Godfrey Ezekiel, NTA News.
The Director General of the Tinubu Shettima 2023 Presidential Campaign Council and Governor Plateau State Simon Bakolalong says the grassroots support being mobilized by APC supporters across the country is a boost towards victory for the party's presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his running mate Kashim Shettima. Salihu Gwanara reports.
In Nigerian elections, Kano State is key due to its sheer number of voters. APC stalwarts from the state say they are striving to sustain its voters' strength into victory for all APC candidates in the 2023 elections. The stakeholders are equally taking the right steps to ensure mass mobilization of prospective voters.
We in the APC and the Tinubu Shettima Campaign Council are law-abiding and encouraging all our candidates and supporters to do the right thing.
APC is a family, a big family. We are all brothers and sisters. That is why we decided to do a lot of consultation, especially during the time of electing party leadership.
We are ready to correct mistakes if we let them, and we are ready to accept ideas.
The gathering assured the electorate that their long-standing political relationship with the Progressive family will produce the desired gains for all-round development if given the mandate. In Abuja, Salihu Gwanara, NTA News.
Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we won't be joining Maiduguri, nor can we take sports update. Thanks for watching. Continue to support NTA's campaign against rape and rapists.
And welcome to another amazing edition of your weekend.
I'm telling you, it has to be hit.